All right. AAA developers are out of touch.
Let me tell you a story about this little game called BattleBit Remastered.
Oh,
Now, at a
baby.
glance, your first thought might be,
That looks like Roblox.
No. To like, okay, so well, it does look like it. It looks like Roblox slash Minecraft to me. Like when I first played it, but like over the course of time, while I was playing like aim trainers and shit, and like just enjoying FPS in general, the more and more I realized that better graphics, either photorealistic or stylized, doesn't necessarily make an FPS better. Because a lot of the times, for like FPS, at least in the competitive sense, you end up turning the graphics down to begin with, so it's easier to see your target. All right, so that's what ends up happening in almost every FPS. So like all of this, like plain looking things, like it's just a brown wall, just random ass grass or whatever. Like this all ends up being to your benefit because it's easier to see the target. We're not even talking about gameplay yet or anything like that, but
if you look at it a little bit closer, you might realize why this game is consistently in the top 10 on Steam charts, beating out the likes of Modern Warfare 2 Warzone and Destiny 2, and has sold almost 2 million copies in its first month. And
good on these guys for doing that, because to my knowledge, like I downloaded it and play a little bit of it. Yes, I think it's a live service or whatever, but I don't remember if there was a battle pass in there. I don't remember if there was a store in there. A lot of the things that people do not like about Call of Duty or Destiny are just not in BattleBit Remastered. Yes, there's like an attachment system that you go from 0 to 100 or whatever the number was, and you have to unlock attachments or whatever. But for the most part, all the base guns are good enough. To where it's not too much of a hindrance. With like Destiny and what is it, Call of Duty, it's like you go on and you play with the base guns and they all just shoot like shit. There's like that bullet flare thing that's popping up. The whole gun is shaking. The screen is shaking. Your character is shaking for some reason. Like so much shit is just shaking for the sake of immersion. All right, and so being like an M&K bro, when so much shit is just shaking on your screen, it doesn't feel good. All right, the easiest way to solve that is just uninstall the game. All right, that's not your target audience for at least Destiny and Call of Duty or whatever. So just the base game feels good for BattleBit.
And would you believe me if I told you that this game was developed by only 3 people? Well, you best start believing in indie dev masterpieces.
Turner, you're in one.
One of the craziest things about BattleBit's success is that it's not a hugely innovative game. It takes much obvious inspiration from the old Battlefield entries and other shooters like Squad, places that concept inside a world with Roblox graphics, and charges $15 on Steam.
Yeah, I forgot. That's the base price. It's like, here it is. All of the good gameplay that you remember without all the bullshit for $15. All right? I think that's more than reasonable.
No strings attached. BattleBit is filling a void in the market where the franchise that inspired it has gone down a very confusing path of alienating its core fan base. Over the last several years, EA and DICE have continued to miss the mark in so many fundamental ways for the
Oh no, they're hitting the mark. Except the mark is the player's pocket and not so much the player's enjoyment. As far as like profits are going, it's like it's all up arrows, money signs, green stonks, plus signs, so on and so forth. Uptrends, it's all that for their profit or whatever. But that's just the type of game that EA wants to develop and throw out. All right, they don't care about like the player base. They couldn't give 2 shits about them.
Battlefield franchise, just not understanding what players loved about the games in the first place. And BattleBit proves that those players are still out there looking for an experience that will replicate the big team battle gameplay of those older titles. Somehow these three developers have managed to create a game that addresses all the feedback that fans of Battlefield have been asking for. Destructible environments, a detailed server browser, a functioning scoreboard with all the stats you'd be interested in.
Oh my god, the scoreboard on day one. Oh my god. Wasn't it Battlefield 2042 couldn't even get that right until months later? Oh my god, these three dudes are just cheating on AAA right now. Woo!
Map and game mode voting, with the inclusion of voting for day or night options, a competent class system that synergizes very well with each other,
This is great.
lengthy progression systems to work towards unlocking new equipment and weapon upgrades, and cosmetics earned through...
Okay, just as my 2 cents, you may not like it. I hate all that attachment unlocking. Like, the gun has like 200 levels, half of the levels, it's a sight to every other level. You know, that's great for like immersion or whatever. Like if you own guns, it's like, oh, I want to unlock my gun in the game and do all this other shit to it. I find that extremely annoying, especially when there's like stats like tied to the gun or whatever. Like back in the old like Call of Duty days where it was like Modern Warfare 2, like yes, you still had like some attachments to unlock, but it wasn't anything crazy. Like what was it? It was like get 100 kills, unlock this thing, get like 200 kills kneeling or something like that or whatever. And it's like it was relatively easy to unlock in like all the attachments or whatever. But this, like the whole gigantic 100 levels, 200 levels, 500 levels, 500 attachments. It's like it's exhausting. But that's just me. If you like it, hey, more power to you. But also like for this, for all these like skins over here, I think this is a great idea. I don't know why they well, I know why they stopped it, but like doing the kills for skins or whatever is a vastly better idea for the player anyway, not so much the developer, in terms of player retention. You know, like modern shooters have all these mechanics, you know, they essentially just sell skins for money or whatever. And it's like, you know, you end up, there's no wanting to grind the game. You end up just, well, I don't know, really, because I don't even really play FPSs that much. I just grind aim trainers, you know, but that's just me. But yeah, I remember playing like old Call of Duty, and it's just like, hey, I think this says like 1,500 kills right here. Get like 1,100 kills for this color. Like, just get the kills for the skins. Leave the cool skins in the game. That's how you're gonna retain players, because they're gonna want that awesome rare skin that only 1% of the player base has. They don't want to have to pay, you know, $50 for gold. All right, that's annoying. Anytime I see gold, it's like, oh, you might as well just be wearing like a $50 bill stamped on your character's forehead. Like, I spent money on the game, guys.
various milestones in the gameplay. Oh, and no battle passes or microtransactions.
Oh, okay. So there really is no battle passes and microtransactions. I said I didn't remember, and he just reminded me there is none, because I don't even remember seeing them, to be honest.
Might this list be the reason BattleBit has so many more players than all the Battlefield titles combined right now?
Good.
These developers went ahead and made the Battlefield game they've always wanted, and took great ideas from other similar shooters like proximity chat, bandaging your own wounds to prevent bleedouts, and building cover or smashing through walls. When developers make games, they would want...
Bro, honestly, AAA devs of like all these like shooters have got to be seething to see the success of BattleBit. It's hilarious to think about.
To play themselves. This is the result. So why does this prove that AAA developers are out of touch?
Well, they just are, because they spend all the time creating the game. They don't want to have to go home and play said game, or, you know, version 1.02, you know, -35 alpha, you know. It's like, oh, does this feel good? Oh, I found like 15 bugs today at home. Better bring my job, you know, I'm done with my 8-hour job of like making the game, and now I have to go home and kind of do all this like unofficial work or undocumented work or whatever of just playing the game, and like no dev wants to do that. Like, well, I don't know. I'm not a fucking game developer, whatever, but that just seems like a lot more work. But I mean, shit, I don't know.
Well, my good friend Justin Truman has something he wanted to tell you all.
We make games we want to play.
All right, hell yeah, Justin, that's
Ooh.
good stuff.
Because we took down that motto a little while after D2 launch.
Oh, what? Where are you going with this?
We make games we want to play. It sounds a little too much like it's just like gatekeeping for bald middle-aged white guys like me.
Oh, fuck off, you big lamb.
Have you ever heard a more out-of-touch statement? But this doesn't come as much of a shock because most AAA studios have proven time and time again that they don't make games they want to play. They make games that will lock you into spending hundreds.
Yep. Sell. Get the blue emote. Get the purple emote. Where's the gold emote? I'm sure it's somewhere in here somewhere.
If not thousands on in-game purchases, and sink hundreds if not thousands of hours of your life inside them. Now it wasn't always this way. Developers used to really care about the games they were creating. And some might say,
Oh, they still care about them. They just care about them in different ways. They care about how much money they can make off of microtransactions, as opposed to the game actually being good.
this is only a leadership or publisher issue, and the game developers working at these studios are being forced to make the game the way leadership wants. And that's absolutely true to a certain degree, because it seems that maybe some developers at these larger studios are actually making games they do want to play. But ironically, it's not games that gamers want to play. For example, when Elden Ring came out, there were some notable developers from both Ubisoft and Guerrilla Games that criticized Elden Ring for not being user-friendly.
Seething. Oh my god. These guys, like, I saw some of the tweets these guys were tweeting, and it's like, they just look like clowns. Like, oh my god.
Friendly enough. Criticizing the game's design at every single level, from the UX and the quest design to the level design and the lack of an easy mode. Essentially criticizing Elden Ring for not adhering to the generic cookie-cutter design found in every other open-world Ubisoft game. But what these developers don't realize is Elden Ring's success is due to the fact that it did not follow the AAA gaming trends of other major publishers. It has a very old-school design that doesn't hold players' hands every step of the way, sometimes forcing the player to think and figure things out on their own. I know, what a concept. Because this is apparently how Elden Ring should look, according to these developers. And what's funny about this picture is that despite it being an obvious meme, it's not far off from reality. Plenty of modern games look exactly like this. Now, Elden Ring is not a perfect game. There are plenty things to criticize, but not adhering to modern gaming standards isn't one of them. And when game developers at these studios put out awful takes like this, maybe you'll understand why I don't put all game developers.
Okay, the fact that Elden Ring scored a 97 on Metacritic is proof. Reviewers don't give a flaming poop about the game UX. My life is a lie. Oh my god. Nor PC graphics, stability, and performance. Apparently. Some adding, and then nor quest design. Really? No, we just want to play a good game, dude. That's it. It's simple. You guys are the ones making it more complicated.
On a pedestal like they're infallible, perfect beings, because a lot of the developers are clearly out of touch with what gamers want. Elden Ring sold more copies than Ubisoft can even fathom.
I mean, is it okay, here's a question. Is it reasonable or unreasonable for a game dev to be out of touch with the final end product of the game when there's been so much time and effort being put into like the development process of the game? Because much the same way as like movie editors and directors like have they have a good concept of like the end goal of a movie, but you know, there's like, you know, the period of like shooting all the film and whatever, and then they just upload it into like Adobe whatever editor thing, and then it's like, okay, time to add all the colors and all the effects and like start cutting up, oh, what scene do we take out, what scene do we add, do we need to go back and reshoot some shit? Like the final end product of a movie isn't always as obvious like while you're editing it. That's why there's things like test groups or test audiences and whatnot. To get like a third opinion or whatever. But you know, like when I don't know, maybe whenever like do test audiences get paid much the same way that like I don't know, game testers used to get paid or whatever. I don't think so, but like game testers, you do have to pay them, or I don't know, maybe they don't. I don't know.
Fathom, and these devs don't understand why. They don't get it. And on the flip side, some developers are absolutely being held back from creating a game that gamers would love, all the while.
Yeah, what happened to this game? This was some Star Wars game, but you play like as a bounty hunter or something, or maybe this is like a Jedi that well, no, he's not a Jedi because there's like you can't see it, but like there's a little gun grenade and like utility thing down here or whatever. But I remember seeing the trailer for this game and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so cool. Like they never followed through with this game or whatever.
While dealing with constant incompetence that surrounds them, or the management and publishers above them. And for those developers, I absolutely sympathize with and hope to hell find a way to break out and deliver gamers an experience they made driven by passion. Because the success of games like BattleBit prove that gamers who reject modern gaming trends are still a very large and substantial market to appeal to.
Yeah.
Now let's pick on Ubisoft a little bit more here for a second.
Oh boy.
A publisher that encompasses the 80s
Oh, come on, man. That's too easy.
low-budget horror movie trope of the game industry, meaning that every sequel they put out
Okay, I dig the funk in the background.
is somehow worse than the original. A company that never learns the most important lesson from one of their own characters.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Yeah, this is a great
And then I started
character.
seeing
Great
everywhere
bad
I
guy.
looked, everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks. Everywhere I looked, doing the exact same fucking thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. Thinking, this time, it's gonna be different.
Ubisoft was once a company that was a trendsetter, leading the industry across several genres. Tactical shooters, stealth titles, open world games, and pushing the industry forward while publishing many other great projects.
Splinter Cell.
But with the success of games like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, they've become extremely stagnant, and every one of their other major franchises have slowly become this homogenized blob of bloated open world checklist simulators, forever canceling any and all projects that might be interesting and break that mold, or sleep on some of their best IPs, or
Yeah, you damn right you use Splinter Cell when you say best IP. I swear to God, if they ever make an open world Splinter Cell game, I will hate it. I will not like it. There's no way you can make an open world Splinter Cell. Do not make an open world Splinter Cell where you have to go around and collect the green goggles on top of like the building under the sewer. All right, you collect the stealth gadget. Like, just don't. I swear to God, please do not.
hold others hostage in development hell because they can't figure out a way to make it print them money yet. And it's sad to see a company that once published a wide array of competent games, being a trendsetter, simply resort to creating the same game over and over and begin to chase trends. Sometimes it works out for them financially, in the case of Assassin's Creed adopting the Witcher 3 formula, even if it is a bastardized half-hearted attempt, and other times it doesn't work out for them, in the case of Hyperscape. This isn't the only flop due to trend chasing from Ubisoft, but it might be.
I don't remember the reason Hyperscape failed. I just don't. If I were to take a guess, it's like they came out with a shooter and then eventually it got overtaken by cheaters and hackers, and since they didn't want to develop an anti-cheat or use license out another anti-cheat system, they were just like, fuck it or whatever. But that's just a guess.
The largest. In 2020, the Battle Royale genre had largely established the big players among Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone.
And honestly, none of these are really that great, to be honest. Like, I would say, well, save Fortnite, because for some reason Fortnite just has staying power because of like all the characters and content they just, license out. And it's like, oh, let's add this guy to Fortnite. Let's add that guy to Fortnite. That's literally like the only reason, and the constant like tweaking of the game, and plus like no build, the addition of no build or whatever keeps it kind of relevant. But Apex and Warzone, eesh.
So when Ubisoft came late to the party with Hyperscape near the end of 2020, it might have been inevitable for it to end so poorly. But it wasn't just because it was late to the party, there were plenty of other factors preventing its success. So no matter how much money Ubisoft paid streamers to promote the game, it just didn't stand a chance. Now there's a reason I bring all of this up. Not just Ubisoft, but almost all AAA studios were once the trendsetters.
Yeah.
There's a few years in particular where we saw the release of so many groundbreaking and genre-defining games. 1998 is probably the best example with games like Half-Life, StarCraft, Metal Gear, Ocarina of Time, Pokemon Red and Blue, and many, many more. Or even 2007 with BioShock, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, Mass Effect, TF2, COD 4, so many others. The idea of the AAA space delivering that many trend-setting games in a single year now seems unimaginable, because none of the largest studios or publishers are looking to lead or innovate anymore.
No.
I think the last real time we saw it,
No one is actively trying to lead. Everyone is, pretty much an established brand, an established company, and they're just trying to make the sequel of their game. Not even. Most AAA devs don't even make games anymore. They just try to make a singular live service game that they can just milk their player base for, so they can, hire more people to make more skins in their game, because gamers are fucking stupid and all they do is buy microtransactions in skins. All right. It's just a fact of the matter.
any innovation was maybe 2013 or 2011. Not that there haven't been a few solid titles since then, but not many trend-setting ones. These days, innovation is primarily coming from the indie scene. Where some might say that Fortnite set the Battle Royale trend, it was actually indie developers that set that trend with mods for games like Arma 3, games like H1Z1 King of the Hill, The Culling, then PUBG, and finally taken over by Epic Games with Fortnite.
Yeah.
And then Apex and Warzone, we know the rest of the story from there.
Yeah.
Extraction shooters are looking like the new Battle Royale. Various indie teams have taken a crack at it. A few slightly larger teams have developed games like Hunt Showdown and Escape from Tarkov.
I'm not even that big of a fan of the whole survival shooter. It's like, these are just looter simulators, dude. Like, you run around for like 20 minutes, you loot shit, and then maybe you find a guy camping in a corner that just waits for you to turn your back and then you get popped. It's like, that's not even fun. And even more so, none of these new shooters have any like good established anti-cheat systems, which is another thing to bring up. It's like there was that one I got caught cheating in Tarkov or video or I cheated in Tarkov with like the wiggle, or no, it was the wiggle that killed Tarkov. And it's like, if that was just what a lot of players are doing in that game, what's to stop players from doing that shit in other shooters, So until these like devs actually put their money where their mouth is and, not just come up with a brand new game, they have to come out with an anti-cheat system too. All right, for your game to have any like lasting staying power. They like all these like new FPSs or survival whatevers, they're just gonna fail.
And now Bungie, fully backed by Sony, are jumping on the extraction shooter train, hoping to flesh out an established genre and pump some AAA level polish onto the project. And while I'm not too keen on the idea of the game myself, I don't doubt it will make a pretty big splash in the gaming scene.
No.
Because as much as it pains me to say, Bungie are some of the biggest trendsetters for the corporations, not so much the gamers. With the Destiny franchise, Bungie
No, I thought it was Blizzard that was like the trendsetter for monetization schemes. But then again, I haven't really played a Bungie game recently at all, so what would I know?
Handedly set in motion towards a trend for live service and loot systems taking over every single game.
Yeah.
And charging premium price for the product, then stuffing it with microtransactions on top of it. The big corpos have been following Bungie's lead ever since 2014, trying to make their own Destiny, which have flopped time and time again.
Yep.
And it's why Sony purchased Bungie, because Bungie have set a precedent in the industry. Not to create innovative games, or even good ones, as our good friend Justin Truman always reminds us, but to create innovative ways of printing money. And now this all comes full circle, back to BattleBit. Because while the AAA industry chases live service trends, over-bloated with ridiculously high dev counts, putting out mediocre products hell-bent on destroying the industry with monetization, ironically, BattleBit shows that a lot of indie devs are now taking inspiration from AAA developers of the past,
Yeah.
and iterating on their visions and seeing a lot of success.
If I could give BattleBit one piece of advice, it would be to quickly implement a really good anti-cheat system such as AnyBrain, and just use that to uphold any sort of like player or competitive integrity in the game. Because as cool as it is to play BattleBit or whatever, it's only a matter of time until the cheaters and hackers just overrun the game. So it is what it is.
It's kind of crazy to see how the inspiration has essentially flipped from AAAs iterating on indies to now indies iterating on AAA of the past.
Yeah.
Again, sort of a full circle kind of moment. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Indies are carrying gaming right now for me. I've been playing so much BattleBit and plenty of other games like Tunic, which is also a great example of a game that borrows from AAA gaming of the past and puts its own twist and spin on that classic Legend of Zelda style. But I really do recommend checking out at least one of these games on screen right now, because they might surprise
Okay, BattleBit, Neon White, Tunic, Shadows of Doubt, Vampire Survivors, and Signalis.
you. But let me know if you agree that AAA developers are out of touch with what you guys want. Of course, AAA will always have an audience of some kind,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming if you've made it this far into the video, you might care a little bit more about genuinely good games that have a soul, rather than games designed around focus group testing and statistics.
I mean, a game doesn't really, I don't know. It depends on what you're looking to get out of a game. A game doesn't need to have a soul to me to be like a good game or an enjoyable game. I mean, I don't know. It's just have like enjoyable gameplay, have like a decent progression system. I don't know. It's like I keep talking about it, and then I could just be like, it's like it's not my job to develop a game, but it is. I can just quickly determine whether or not a game is good or bad or whatever. So I don't know.
Hope you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Nice. Yeah, this is a banger from November Hotel. Brings up a lot of good points. And I only hope like more AAA or not AAA, like indie devs come out and make good, not just FPSs, but like other non-FPS games that take credence from good storytelling, back in the day, good gameplay from back in the day, so on and so forth. Yeah. But it's kind of crazy to still think that like BattleBit was just made by 3 dudes. That's crazy. But yeah, another banger video. That's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say. And all right, I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.